The ship was small and old. It made strange noises when it landed on Station Helios 9. The landing bay workers looked at it and laughed. They had seen many ships before, but this one looked like it might fall apart at any moment. The door opened slowly. A man walked out. He was thin and not very tall. His hair was dark and messy. He wore simple clothes that had been washed too many times. His name was Park Do-hwan, and he was human. The workers laughed again. Humans were known across the galaxy as one of the weakest species. They had no claws. They had no thick skin. They could not see in the dark. They could not breathe underwater. They were small and soft and broke easily. Do-hwan walked slowly. He had a slight limp in his left leg from an old injury. On his shoulder, he carried a large bag made of worn leather. The bag moved sometimes, like something was sleeping inside it. A tall security guard stopped him at the gate. The guard was from the Krell species. He stood 3 meters tall and had 4 arms. His skin was like stone gray and rough. He looked down at Do-hwan like he was looking at an insect. "Purpose of visit?" the guard asked. His voice was deep and bored. "Trading," Do-hwan said quietly. "Medical supplies." The guard scanned Do-hwan's bag with his device. The machine made a confused sound. It beeped several times and showed an error message. "What is in the bag?" the guard demanded. "My pet," Do-hwan said. "Show me." Do-hwan opened the bag carefully. Inside, something was curled up and sleeping. It looked like a large cat, but not quite. It had 6 legs instead of 4. Its fur was completely black, so black that it seemed to eat the light around it. When it breathed, Do-hwan could feel the guard step back. "What species is that?" the guard asked. His voice was different now. Less bored. More careful. "I do not know," Do-hwan said honestly. "I found her when she was injured. She has been with me for 3 years now. Her name is Bomi." The guard scanned the creature. The machine showed errors again. No match in the database. No known species. The guard looked uncomfortable, but he had no reason to stop the human. The creature was not on any banned list because it was not on any list at all. "Move along," the guard said. He was happy to see them go. Do-hwan walked into the station. Helios 9 was a massive place, full of species from across the galaxy. There were tall ones and short ones, fat ones and thin ones. Some had wings. Some had tails. Some floated in the air. The station was loud and bright and smelled like 100 different worlds, mixed together. Nobody paid attention to the small human with the limp. He was not interesting. He was not important. He was just another weak creature trying to survive in a galaxy full of predators. Do-hwan found his way to the lower markets. He set up a small table and started to display his goods. Medical supplies were always needed. Bandages, medicine, healing machines. He sold them at fair prices. Hours passed. Some customers came. Most ignored him. That was fine. Do-hwan was patient. Then the trouble arrived. 5 Krell pirates walked into the market. They were big and loud, and everyone moved out of their way. They walked straight to Do-hwan's table. The leader was even bigger than the security guard. He had scars all over his stone skin. "Human," the leader said. He smiled, showing teeth like broken rocks. "Nice goods you have. We will take them." Do-hwan looked up at the pirate. His face showed no fear. This was strange. Most species trembled when Krell pirates came for them. "I would prefer to sell them," Do-hwan said calmly. "I can offer you a good price." The pirates laughed. The sound was like rocks grinding together. "You do not understand," the leader said. He grabbed Do-hwan's collar and lifted him off the ground. "We do not pay. We take. That is how this works, little human." In the bag, Bomi shifted in her sleep. She made a small sound like a yawn. For just a moment, her eyes opened. They were not normal eyes. They reflected no light at all. Looking into them was like looking into empty space, into the void between stars. The pirate leader felt something strange. A cold feeling in his chest. An old feeling that his species had not felt in thousands of years. It was fear. True fear. The kind that comes from deep in the blood, passed down from ancestors who knew what real predators looked like. He dropped Do-hwan. On second thought, the leader said, his voice now uncertain, keep your goods. The pirates left quickly. They did not know why they were leaving. They just knew they had to get away from that small human and his sleeping pet. Do-hwan fixed his collar. He looked at his bag. Bomi was sleeping again, peaceful and quiet. Thank you, he whispered to her. But I had it under control. The bag moved slightly. It might have been a laugh. Do-hwan went back to selling his goods. The market continued around him. Nobody understood what had just happened. Nobody knew that the weakest-looking creature in the station was carrying the deadliest predator the galaxy had ever known. And Bomi slept on, dreaming whatever dreams and nightmare dreams. 3 days passed on Station Helios 9. Do-hwan sold his medical supplies slowly. He was not in a hurry. He had nowhere else to be. The universe was big and cold, and one place was the same as another to him. But something strange was happening. Other traders began to notice. When Do-hwan set up his table each morning, the space around him stayed empty. Other traders moved their tables away. Customers walked past quickly. Nobody wanted to be close to the small human with the black bag. They did not know why. They just felt uncomfortable. Like standing at the edge of a cliff. Like swimming in dark water. Like being watched by something hungry. A woman noticed this pattern. Her name was Yuna. She was human too, one of the few on the station. She ran a salvage operation, buying broken things and fixing them. She had sharp eyes and a sharper tongue. She had survived on Helios 9 for 5 years by paying attention to things others missed. She watched Do-hwan for 2 days before she approached him. You are interesting, she said. Sitting down across from his table, Do-hwan looked at her. I am just a trader. No, Yuna said. A trader does not make Krell pirates run away. A trader does not make other species keep their distance without knowing why. What is your secret? Do-hwan smiled. It was a gentle smile, almost sad. No secret. I am just a man with a pet. At that moment, Bomi poked her head out of the bag. She looked at Yuna with her empty eyes. Yuna felt her heart beat faster. Her hands started to shake. Every part of her body wanted to run away. But she forced herself to stay still. That is not a normal pet, Yuna whispered. No, Do-hwan agreed. She is not. Before Yuna could ask more questions, an old alien appeared at the table. He was from the Veth species. They were known for their long lives and longer memories. This one was ancient. His skin hung loose on his bones. His many eyes were clouded with age. But when he looked at Bomi, those old eyes went wide with terror. Impossible, the old Veth said. His voice was shaking. Impossible. They are all dead. We killed them all. Killed who? Yuna asked. The old alien did not answer her. He fell to his knees in front of Do-hwan. His whole body was trembling. Human, he said, do you know what you carry? Do you understand? Do-hwan looked down at him with kind eyes. I know she is special. Special? The old Veth laughed, but it was not a happy sound. That creature is an apex night stalker. They were the first predators. They existed before my species learned to walk. Before any of us had names. They hunted us. They ate us. They could kill a planet in days. Yuna felt the blood leave her face. That is just a legend. I wish it was, the old Veth said. I am Elder Thros. One have studied the ancient records for 300 years. 1,000 species joined together to kill the Night Stalkers. It was the only time in history that the whole galaxy worked together. Because if we did not, they would have eaten us all. He pointed a shaking finger at Bomi. She was watching him calmly, her head tilted to one side like a curious cat. We thought we killed them all. We thought we were safe. But here one is, sleeping in a bag, traveling with a human. Dowan reached down and scratched Bomi behind her ears. She closed her empty eyes and made a sound like purring. But the sound was strange. It seemed to come from everywhere at once. She has never heard anyone who did not try to hurt me first, Dowan said simply. How? Elder Thros demanded. How did you tame a god of death? Dowan thought about this question for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was quiet. I did not tame her. I found her on a dead world, alone and injured. She was starving. She was waiting to die. I gave her food. I cleaned her wounds. I sat with her while she healed. And she did not kill you? She could have. Many times. But she chose not to. Dawan looked at Bomi with soft eyes. There was love there. Real love. The kind between family. When I tried to leave, she followed my ship. She would not let me go alone. So I took her with me. That was 3 years ago. She has been my friend ever since. Elder Thros stood up slowly. His old legs were weak. You do not understand. She is not a friend. She is not a pet. She is a weapon. The deadliest weapon in the universe. No, Dowan said. His voice was still gentle, but there was something firm underneath. She is Bomi. She likes to sleep in warm places. She likes when I sing to her. She is afraid of loud noises. She is my family. The old Veth stared at him. Then he shook his head. You humans, he said. You are either the bravest or the most foolish species in the galaxy. I cannot decide which. He walked away, still trembling. Yuna stayed. She looked at Bomi again. The creature looked back. This time, Yuna did not feel as much fear. Just a little. Just enough to remind her that she was looking at death itself. Wow, Yuna said finally. I think I want to know you better, Park Dowan. Dowan smiled. That could be dangerous. I know, Yuna said. That is why it is interesting. And in the bag, Bomi went back to sleep. The deadliest predator in the galaxy, dreaming peaceful dreams. News travels fast in space. Within a week, the story spread through the dark corners of the galaxy. A human was traveling with something impossible, something ancient, something dangerous that most people did not believe the stories. The Apex Night Stalkers were dead. Everyone knew this. It was history. It was fact, but Warlord Geth believed. Geth was the leader of the largest pirate fleet in this sector. He was Krell, like the pirates who had run from Dowan. But Geth was different. He was smarter. He was crueler. And he was hungrier for power than any creature Dowan had ever known. When Geth heard about the Night Stalker, he saw opportunity. A weapon like that could make him unstoppable. He could rule the whole sector. Maybe the whole galaxy. He sent 50 of his best warriors to Helios 9. Their orders were simple. Bring him the human and the creature. Alive if possible. Dead if necessary. Dohan was walking through the station when they came. Yuna was with him. She had been following him for days now, asking questions about Earth, about his travels, about Bomi. She was curious. Dohan did not mind. It had been a long time since anyone wanted to talk to him. They were in the maintenance tunnels, taking a short path back to his ship when the lights went out. That is not good, Yuna whispered. Dowan stood very still. In the darkness, he could hear them. Heavy footsteps, Many of them. Coming from all directions, the emergency lights came on, red and dim. Do-hwan could see them now. Krell warriors, armored and armed. They filled the tunnel ahead and behind. There was no escape. A warrior stepped forward. He was wearing the mark of Warlord Geth. "Human," he said, "you will come with us. You and your pet. Warlord Geth wishes to meet you." Do-hwan looked at the warriors. He counted them quickly. 50 at least. All of them trained killers. All of them bigger and stronger than him. "I would prefer not to," Do-hwan said. The warrior laughed. "You do not have a choice." Do-hwan sighed. It was a heavy sound, full of sadness. He knelt down and opened his bag. Bomi was awake now. Her empty eyes looked up at him. "I am sorry," Do-hwan whispered to her. "I know you do not like this, but I need your help." Bomi made a sound. It was soft and sad. She did not want to do this. Do-hwan could see it in her eyes. But she would. For him, she would do anything. "Yuna," Do-hwan said quietly, "close your eyes. Do not open them until I tell you." "What?" "Please, trust me." Yuna closed her eyes. She did not know why. She just trusted him. Bomi stepped out of the bag. She seemed bigger now. The darkness seemed to grow around her. The red emergency lights flickered and died. The temperature dropped. Yuna could see her breath in the cold air. The warriors noticed too. They raised their weapons. Some of them stepped back. They felt it. That ancient fear. That terror written in their blood. "What is that?" One of them whispered. Bomi opened her mouth. She did not make a sound that Yuna could hear, but she heard the warriors scream. They screamed in terror. They screamed in pain. They screamed as something very old and very hungry woke up. It lasted 30 seconds. Maybe less. Then silence. "You can open your eyes now," Do-hwan said. His voice was tired. Yuna opened her eyes. The lights were coming back on. She looked around the tunnel. The warriors were gone. All 50 of them. There was no blood. No bodies. No weapons. Nothing at all. It was like they had never existed. Do-hwan was sitting on the ground. Bomi was in his arms. She was shaking. Her face was buried against his chest. She was making sounds like crying. "What happened?" Yuna asked. Her voice was barely a whisper. "She happened," Do-hwan said. He was stroking Bomi's fur gently. "She protected us. Where are the bodies?" "There are no bodies." Yuna felt sick. She did not want to understand what that meant. But she understood anyway. "She is not a weapon," Do-hwan said. His voice was firm but sad. "She is scared. She hates what she can do. Every time she has to use her power, it hurts her. She feels their fear. She feels them die. It breaks her heart." He held Bomi tighter. She was still shaking. "I never ask her to do this. I never want her to. But she knows when I am in danger. And she will not let anything hurt me." Footsteps came from behind them. A human man in military uniform appeared. He had a gun, but he did not raise it. He just stood there, staring at the empty tunnel. "Commander Tyke," he said, introducing himself. "Earth Colonial Defense. I was sent to find you." Do-hwan looked up at him. "You are too late. I see that." Tyke looked at the emptiness where 50 warriors had been. "My superiors want to talk to you. About your pet." "She's not a pet," Do-hwan said. "She is my family. Whatever she is, a lot of powerful people are interested in her." Do-hwan stood up slowly. Bomi was still in his arms. She had stopped shaking, but her eyes were closed. She was exhausted. "Tell your superior something," Do-hwan said. His gentle voice was gone. There was steel underneath now. "She is not a weapon. She is not a tool. She is a living creature who has suffered enough. If anyone tries to take her from me, I will not stop her next time." He walked past Commander Tyke, carrying Bomi like a parent carries a sleeping child. Yuna followed him. At the last moment, she turned back to look at Tyke. "He means it," she said. "And after what I just saw, I would listen if I were you." She left Tyke standing alone in the empty tunnel, wondering how one small human had become the most dangerous person in the galaxy. Do-Wan's ship was called the Quiet Garden. It was small and old, but clean. Inside, there were plants everywhere. Real plants from Earth. Flowers and ferns and small trees in pots. The air smelled like forest and rain. Bom, I slept in a nest of blankets near the engine. The warmth helped her recover. She had not moved for 2 days. Commander Tyke came to the ship on the third day. He came alone, without weapons. Do-Wan let him in. "Nice ship," Tyke said, looking at the plants. "She likes green things," Do-Wan said, nodding toward Bomi. "On the world where I found her, there was nothing alive. I think she missed life." Tyke sat down across from Do-Wan. He was a soldier, but he looked tired. The kind of tired that comes from carrying heavy orders. "I have to be honest with you," Tyke said. "Earth Command wants me to bring you and the creature back. They want to study it, understand it, maybe use it." "Use her," Do-Wan corrected. "She is not an it. Use her, then." Tyke rubbed his face. "Do you know how many generals would kill for a weapon like that? She erased 50 Krell warriors without leaving a trace. Do you understand what that means in military terms?" "I understand," Do-Wan said. "But she is not a weapon. She is a person. She's a predator that nearly destroyed the galaxy. That was her ancestors. Not her. She is the last one. She was alone for thousands of years before I found her. Can you imagine that? Being the only one of your kind? Having everyone fear you? Having nobody to love you?" Tyke did not answer. He looked at Bomi sleeping in her blankets. She looked peaceful, small, nothing like the monster from the stories. "Let me tell you how I found her," Do-Wan said. He closed his eyes and remembered. "I was exploring a dead system, looking for salvage. There was a planet there, completely empty. No life, no water, just rock and dust. But my sensors found something strange. A life sign. Just one." He opened his eyes again. "I landed and walked for hours. I found her in a cave. She was dying. Her body was broken. She had wounds that looked thousands of years old. She was starving but too weak to hunt. She was just waiting for death to finally come." Do-Wan's voice became soft. "When she saw me, she could have killed me. Even dying, she was stronger than anything I had ever seen. But she did not attack. She just looked at me, and I saw it in her eyes. She was tired. So tired of being alone. So tired of being afraid." "Afraid?" Tyke asked. "What is something like that fear?" "Herself," Do-Wan said. "She fears what she is. She did not choose to be a predator. She did not choose to be dangerous. She was born that way, and everyone she ever met tried to kill her because of it." He looked at Bomi with love in his eyes. "I gave her food. I cleaned her wounds. I sang her songs from Earth while she healed. I did not run away. I did not try to hurt her. And she decided that I was worth trusting." "That does not make sense," Tyke said. "Our species killed billions. Did she kill billions? Or did others of her kind do that? Should she pay for crimes she did not commit? Should she be punished for being born?" Tyke had no answer. The door to the ship opened. Yuna came in, followed by Elder Thros. The old Veth was carrying ancient tablets covered in strange writing. "I found something," Elder Thros said. "Something that changes everything." He placed the tablets on the table. His old hands were shaking. I went back to the oldest records, the ones from before the war against the Night Stalkers. I found the truth. What truth? Tyke asked. They were not monsters. Elder Thros pointed to the writing on the tablets. The Night Stalkers were protectors. Each one bonded with a companion species. They defended their companions against all threats. They were guardians, not hunters. Then, why did the galaxy kill them all? Because we were afraid. Their power was too great. We could not control them. So we decided they were evil and we destroyed them. We killed them not because they hurt us, but because they could hurt us. Elder Thros looked at Bomi. She's the last survivor of a genocide. We did not defeat monsters. We murdered protectors because we feared them. The room was silent. Bomi woke up. She lifted her head slowly. She looked at each person in the room. Then she stood on her 6 legs and walked toward Commander Tyke. Tyke's hand went to his hip where his gun would have been. But he had no gun. He was helpless. BOM. I stopped in front of him. She looked into his eyes for a long moment. Then she lay down at his feet. She rolled over, showing her throat, her belly, her most vulnerable parts. It was a gesture of trust, of submission, of peace. She is choosing to trust you, Dohan said softly. Because I trust you. That is how she works. She follows my heart. Tyke looked down at the creature at his feet, the deadliest predator in the galaxy, showing him her soft belly like a puppy asking for scratches. He made a decision. I will tell my superiors that I found nothing, Tyke said. The stories were just legends. There is no Night Stalker. Just a small human with a strange pet. Thank you, Dohan said. Taek stood up. He looked at Dohan one more time. Take care of her, he said. She deserves better than what this galaxy gave her kind. He left the ship. Yuna sat down next to Bomi. Carefully, slowly, she reached out her hand. Bomi sniffed it. Then she pressed her head against Yuna's palm. Wow, Yuna said, her voice shaking a little. I guess I am part of the family now. Bomi purred. The sound filled the ship like warm sunlight. For the first time in thousands of years, she was not alone. 6 months passed. Stories spread through the galaxy like fire through dry grass. They talked about a human who walked with death itself. A small gentleman who carried the last Night Stalker in a bag. Pirates who crossed and disappeared without a trace. Slavers who threatened him were never seen again. They called him the Shepherd of Nightmares, the Keeper of the Last Shadow. The soft man with the hard pet. Dohan did not care about the names. He just continued his quiet life, trading, traveling, taking care of Bomi. Sometimes Yuna traveled with them. Sometimes Elder Thros sent them ancient books to read. Sometimes Commander Tyke sent warning messages about danger in certain sectors. They had become a strange little family. The peace never lasts forever. Warlord Geth had not forgotten. 50 of his warriors had vanished. His reputation had suffered. Other warlords laughed at him. They said he was weak. They said even a human could defeat him. Geth's anger burned for 6 months. He gathered his entire fleet. 200 ships. Thousands of warriors. Enough firepower to destroy a planet. He did not come for Dohan this time. He came for Station Helios 9 itself. If he could not have the Night Stalker, he would burn everything Dohan cared about. The warning came in the middle of the night. Geth's fleet was approaching. They would arrive in 6 hours. He was broadcasting a message to the whole station. Give me the human and his pet, or I will turn your station into dust. Panic spread through Helios 9. People ran for their ships. Traders abandoned their goods. Families cried and held each other. Dohan stood in the middle of the chaos. He was calm. He was always calm. Yuna found him near his ship. "We need to run," she said. "If we leave now, we can escape before the fleet arrives. And let them destroy the station? Kill everyone here. That is not our problem." "It is my problem," Do-hwan said. "Geth is here because of me. Because of Bomi. If we run, innocent people die. If we stay, we die too." Do-hwan smiled. That same gentle, sad smile he always had. "Maybe," he said. "Maybe not." He walked to the station's command center. Yuna followed. Elder Thros was already there, his whole body trembling, but his eyes determined. "What is your plan?" the station commander asked. She was a tall female from a species Do-hwan did not recognize. Her voice was afraid but trying not to show it. "I will talk to him," Do-hwan said. "Talk? He has 200 ships." "I know. What can one human do against that?" Do-hwan looked at the bag on his shoulder. Bomi was awake. Her empty eyes were watching everything. "Not one human," Do-hwan said. "One human and his friend." He walked to his ship. Yuna grabbed his arm. "You are crazy," she said. "Probably. I am coming with you." "No, stay here. If this does not work, someone needs to help people escape." He climbed into the quiet garden. Yuna watched through the window as the small old ship flew out of the station, alone against an army. The fleet was waiting. 200 ships arranged in attack formation. At the center was Warlord Geth's flagship, massive and covered in weapons. Do-hwan's ship stopped in front of them. It looked like a mouse facing a mountain. He opened a communication channel. His voice was calm. "Warlord Geth, this is Park Do-hwan. I ask you to turn back. Leave this station alone. These people have done nothing to you." Geth's voice came back, full of hate. "You killed my warriors. You embarrassed me. Now you will watch everyone you know die before I kill you. Your warriors tried to capture me and my friend. She defended us. That is all. That creature is a weapon. It belongs to the strong. It belongs to me. She belongs to no one. She is free. She chooses to stay with me because I love her. That is something you cannot take." Geth laughed. The sound was ugly. "Love? The weak human talks about love. Fire all weapons. Destroy his ship first. Then the station." 200 ships aimed at the quiet garden. Thousands of weapons charged. Enough firepower to crack a moon. Do-hwan opened his bag. "Bomi," he said softly, "I will not force you. But these people will die if we do not stop them. Will you help me one more time?" Bomi looked at him. Then she looked at the fleet through the window. She made a sound that was almost a sigh. She jumped onto the hull of the ship. The vacuum of space did not seem to affect her. She stood there, small and black against the stars. And then she screamed. There was no sound in space. But the scream did not need air. It traveled through something older than air. Something that connected all thinking minds. The scream touched every creature in the fleet. They felt it. Every soldier. Every captain. Every navigator. They felt the terror of ancient prey. They felt the fear that was written in the DNA of every species in the galaxy. They felt what it meant to be hunted by something they could not fight. Warriors dropped their weapons and cried like children. Captains abandoned their posts and hid under tables. Strong Krell soldiers fell to the ground and screamed for their mothers. Geth's fleet broke apart. Ships fled in every direction. They crashed into each other. They jumped into hyperspace without calculating courses. They ran like animals from a fire dot in 30 seconds. The mighty fleet was gone, scattered across a dozen star systems. Broken not by weapons, but by pure, primal terror. Geth's flagship was the last to run. Through the communication channel, Do-hwan heard the warlord screaming in fear. begging for mercy that Bomi had already given by letting him live. Then silence. Bomi climbed back into the ship. She was shaking again. Do-hwan held her tight. "You saved them all," he whispered. "Thank you." Bomi pressed her face against his chest. She was tired. So tired. But she was also at peace. When Do-hwan returned to the station, the people were waiting. They did not cheer. They were too amazed to cheer. They just stared at the small human with the worn clothes and the gentle smile. Then someone started to bow. Then another. Then everyone. They bowed not in worship, but in thanks. In respect. In understanding. Do-hwan walked past them without stopping. He did not want thanks. He did not need respect. He just wanted to find a warm place for Bomi to sleep. Days later, things were back to normal. Or almost normal. Do-hwan was sitting in the market with his table of medical supplies. Bomi was sleeping in her bag. Yuna was nearby, pretending to shop but really watching over them. A small child walked up to the table. She was from a species Do-hwan did not recognize. She had 3 eyes and soft purple skin. She was too young to know fear. "Can I pet your friend?" she asked. Do-hwan looked at Bomi. Bomi opened one empty eye and looked at the child. "Ask her yourself," Do-hwan said. The child leaned toward the bag. "Can I pet you?" Bomi considered this for a moment. Then she poked her head out of the bag and bumped it against the child's hand. The child laughed and scratched behind Bomi's ears. Bomi purred. The child's mother watched from a distance. She was terrified. She knew the stories. She knew what Bomi was. But she could not make herself move. She could only watch as the deadliest predator in the galaxy let her daughter pet her like a house cat. "Why is she so nice?" the child asked. Do-hwan smiled. That same gentle smile that never changed. Because someone was nice to her first. The child smiled back and kept petting Bomi. Around them, the market continued. Life went on. The galaxy kept spinning. And the last night stalker slept peacefully in a worn leather bag, carried by a small human who had given her something no one else ever had. A home. A family. A reason to be gentle. Because the deadliest creature in the galaxy had not chosen a human because he was strong. She had chosen him because he was kind.